What's goody world? I'm back with the homie Nick, Fat Electrician. I will be dropping that watermelon war of Panama video tomorrow. I think we're gonna have the clearance. We're gonna have the 2-day clearance by tomorrow. I don't know why I thought I was dropping it today. I'm tripping. I'm gonna drop it tomorrow. Try to squeeze in a couple of shorts today. So we have arrived at the Fat Electrician reviews the gun trucks of Vietnam. Let's see what my boy got for me.
Today we're talking about the gun trucks of Vietnam. During the Vietnam War, the American military would go toe-to-toe with a guerrilla fighting force known as the VC, or the Viet Cong. And during Vietnam, per usual, America had air superiority. To counter this, the Viet Cong would begin attacking American supply lines. They would do this by ambushing our convoys. At this point in time, these convoys were very lightly defended, if at all. After these ambushes would prove devastating.
Wait, hold on.
To counter this, the Viet Cong would begin attacking American supply lines. They would do this by ambushing our convoys. At this point in time, these convoys were very lightly defended, if at all.
That's what I want. Why? Okay, I thought I heard it wrong. I thought maybe I heard it wrong, but he is saying that us, America, we didn't have anybody, barely, if anybody, guarding the convoys. Any reason why? Hit me to that. Any reason why?
Do this by ambushing our convoys. At this point in time, these convoys were very lightly defended, if at all. After these ambushes would prove devastatingly effective, the American military would identify the need for the truckers to defend themselves. To do this, they would commission a new weapon of war to be built, the V-100 armored vehicle. But it takes time to design, and then find the lowest bidder, military grade, and then have it built.
Which I've learned is it just means terrible. It sounds good. It sounds like, because you would think that the military is like the most upheld, most well put together, most damn well is oiled. Y'all do oil changes on the regular. You rotate your tires. The brakes never get to the point where they squeak. That's how you think when you think military grade. You think everything is up to par, until I've learned that is exactly what it does not mean. Okay? I don't even know if it means the opposite. It may mean worse than the opposite. The shit might not even take oil. Probably just throw some damn cores and some Schlitz malt liquor in that mug and it'll work. That's what I've come to learn about military grade. All right, let's carry on.
But it takes time to design, and then find the lowest bidder, military grade, and then have it built, and then tested, and then mass-produced and shipped to the war zone. Time that the truckers on the ground did not have. So they did the last thing you would ever want an American to do. They improvised. Bearing in mind—
Wait, now in war, during battle, we need the improvisation of the grunts, because they're thinking they always talk about the right in the left part of the brain. Well, I think the grunts think with the top part of the brain. How about that? How about we add a new damn part to it? They thinking with the top of it. Okay, so we need that top of the brain thinking, improvisation during battle. That we do need.
Not have. So they did the last thing you would ever want an American to do. They improvised. Bearing in mind that it's never a war crime the first time, and it's always better to ask forgiveness than permission, they began taking the M35 Deuce and a Half and the 5-ton trucks, and they began a process that I can only describe as tactical arts and crafts. They would acquire armor plating and create a heavily fortified machine gun position in the cargo area of these trucks. They would also armor the cab to protect the driver. The chain of command would then authorize them to utilize the M60 machine gun from the back of these fortified machine gunning positions. But that wasn't really enough either. I'm not saying that the E4 Mafia exists, but if it did, that's exactly—
A lie don't care who tell it, and a fart don't care who smell it, Nick. We know what exists and what doesn't exist when it comes to the mafia.
machine gunning position.
The E4, the E4.
But that wasn't really enough either. I'm not saying that the E4 Mafia exists, but if it did, that's exactly who they called. Because to gain more firepower, they began the strategic transfer of equipment to alternate locations. Steel, for short. They would acquire weapons like the M250 cal, the minigun, and other—
Why they
Because to
smiling?
gain more firepower,
Look how
they began the
smiling
strategic transfer
with
of
the
equipment to alternate locations. Steal, for short. They would acquire weapons
Look at how happy they are. Just
like the M250 cal, the minigun, and other exotic unhealthcare utensils. For example, the Eve of Destruction was known for having a dual 50 cal naval turret. This fucking monstrosity. If you don't know much about guns and you're not quite sure what you're looking at here, that thing will blow out all the birthday candles on your family tree at once. And
damn, that's how. Damn.
you're not quite sure what you're looking at here, that thing will blow out all.
It's crazy that people who live in the world make the weapons for war for the world that they live in. That ain't crazy to y'all. And they got us so it is so normal or so accepted. It's just not, we just don't speak about it. We don't hold whatever car company is making these guns, whatever plane. I forget. They like make cars and planes too. It's just like we don't protest them. We don't say, hey, why are you doing this? And why are you making guns for us and them? We don't do that. Yo, anyway, somebody makes this gun and they make it for the ops too. It's crazy.
The birthday candles on your family tree at once. And when the truckers in charge of the Eve of Destruction were asked how they acquired such a weapon, they said, and I quote, "We borrowed it from a Navy ship when no one was looking." Could you imagine being the Navy guy responsible for that weapon? You have to explain to your chain of command that you don't know where it went. And if you don't know much about guns, the M60 is a great weapon, but it's something that you would use to kill a bad guy in a forest. The 50 cal, on the other hand, is something that you would use to kill a forest with bad guys in it. I'm trying to tell you that when these guys were conducting a convoy operation and the trees started talking, they turned into a mobile deforestation unit real fucking quick. These guys cleared more vegetation than a fucking forest fire. They wrote the book on the hardened convoy concept. They created concepts like TFF, turn, fix, and fire. If you're not picking up what I'm putting down, these gun trucks were basically miniature battleships. They would pull up sideways at the enemy, fire a full broadside, and just fucking delete everything in their path. But the day would come that the V-100s would finally arrive, and they fucking sucked. The improvised gun trucks made by the men on the ground would prove vastly superior. It is.
Are you kidding me? My thing, I don't know. Maybe it is comparable in size. It looks like the design makes it look small, but I'm looking at it next to those other trucks. It seemed like it's sized properly, but
Sucked. The improvised gun trucks made by the men on the ground would prove vastly superior. It is estimated that 200 to 300 of these trucks were made, but the only one to ever make it back to American soil was the Eve of Destruction, where you can now go see it at the Army Transportation Museum in Fort Eustis, Virginia. In conclusion, never make America improvise or you'll probably end up on the shittier end of a Mad Max type situation. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Merch and other links are available at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang out.
bruh, stealing, bruh, how do you walk? How does it gotta take a few of y'all? How do y'all? I don't even know if y'all are sneaking on these ships at this point. Because that's a story in itself. How are y'all even as a group collectively walking onto a ship and they saying, hey, whoa, what y'all doing? Anyways, y'all are on the ship. How do y'all now then locate the weaponry you want to strategically transfer elsewhere? And then y'all get to taking it apart. Are y'all not making noise? How is this happening? Or is one of the guys' brothers or cousins on the ship like, y'all hurry up, come on, we ain't pulling off the dock for about 14 days. Just bring it back in 14 days, bruh. Is that what's happening? I don't know. Y'all let me know. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I don't know what else to ask because how does that happen?